Hello and welcome to what will be our final lecture of the summer session. So you made it all the way through. Of course, we know Ashley is the only one watching these things at least 20 or 30 minutes in because she's the only one that grabbed those 5 points on the bonus just so generously offered up. But anyway, so hopefully you're watching here on the last one, and we'll have something tomorrow. I'll do a little review tomorrow. I'll probably maybe just show you some video points about the review. Then we'll get in and get ready for our test. Will be on Thursday, and I'll try to get that up online sometime Wednesday and keep it up through Thursday. And of course, if you haven't done your project, two of you have turned your project in. If you haven't turned your project in, get that turned in by Friday. And also, don't forget your final written assignment. Written assignment 5, an easy one, just 20 pointer, talking about where you are, where you think our industry is going in to the next 5 to 10 years. Again, think about it. And we saw some video about Twitter. We saw some video about Netflix. That 10 years ago, no one could see these things. This is why Kevin Plank, the CEO of Under Armour, says it's impossible to do a 5 and 10 year strategic plan now because you just don't know what's going to be happening. So get those things in. And again, I'll do your class participation probably tomorrow. I think we're pretty set in where we are class participation wise. And so put those points into your total. As soon as you turn in written assignment number 5, I'll get that points put in your total. And then what you should be able to tell is based on that, especially if you've done the final project, you'll know what you need on the final exam to get an A or B, etc. So it's 405 points, I believe, total for an A, and then whatever 404 down to whatever for a B, etc. So whatever 80% of, I have my phone, oh, I have it right here. 80% of 450 would be, let me see here. This is great, great. This lecture gets better, so make sure you stay around. 450 times 0.8 equals, so 360 to 404 would be a B. So then I can just do the math in my head now. 315 to 359 for a C. So you'll know. So if you're at 360 points or 350 points going to the final, you know you just need a 55 for an A. So it makes it easy. So before we start, this is always kind of a good one. This is better in person. So normally I have Chuck Hines speak to the class. Chuck has a radio show here in town, and Chuck does something called Rules for Life. And Chuck's was not available to do an online interview, so I went to this, and I'm going to start with this. And it's interesting too because Chuck is a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So let's take a look at this video real quick.
Come on, Lenny. Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
So to me, that's a great first lesson for us. Matriculate the ball down the field, boys. And something that you hear a lot. You hear a lot of radio people do that. Matriculate the ball down the field. Well, do you know what matriculate means? Matriculate means to enroll in college. So matriculating the ball down the field. Now this comes from a website called bloggerstobenamed.later.com. Matriculating the ball down the field. Here's the phrase that you hear a lot. It's a rare instance where we can pinpoint the first use of a completely made-up definition to a pre-existing word that already had its own perfectly good definitions. In 1969, Kansas City Chiefs coach Hank Stram was caught on a microphone telling his players, just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. He really couldn't say anything there. Time to anthropomorphize, however you say that, the grass clippings, boys, and sports commentators would have started using the field. So you still hear sports announcers really honestly use that term, like, hey, Tech's got the ball and they're going to try to matriculate down the field. It's not a word. Well, it is a word, but again, it means to enroll in college. So that's your first lesson here. Remember we talked about it's harder than it looks. And sometimes it's easier than it looks too, right? It's easy to get things right. It's easy. If you don't know the meaning of a word, don't try to use it until you look it up. Great lesson. Other things to remember. Lose is the opposite of win. Loose means not tight. Really one of my pet peeves of loose and lose. Hey, did Tech lose last night? LOSE? Well, what do you mean? It's a great thing to remember. Again, if this was in class, I would show you manner and a couple others as well. But lose and loose is a one that you see a lot in print, that people make the mistake, and you see it a lot like in bloggers and things and people in online communities, which I think maybe is somewhat telling. So Chuck has his rules for life, so it made me come up with my rules for life a couple years ago, and so we're going to go through these today. And again, this class, you feel somewhat distant from the group because you don't see you guys every other day. We don't talk to you. We don't ask you before class how you're doing because we just roll in and we see the video and everything. But I would tell you this throughout the session or the semester. Complaining is not a strategy. Tell this to my employees a lot when they're upset about something. If you're upset about something, bring me what you think would be a way we could fix it. Complaining is not a strategy. You'll be a better employee if you go to your boss and say, "Hey, here's a problem, but here's what I think how I can fix it." You'll be a better boss if you go to your employees and say, "Hey, I don't like this, so maybe we could do it this way." So there you go. Crap happens. See, this poor guy is trying to escape. He's about to go right into the outhouse. Crap happens. I told you a story online about my business that throughout the midst of all that happened in 9/11, 2001, and the thousands of people that lost their lives and how that affects their families. It also affected business. It affected my business all the way down here in Lubbock, Texas. And again, you can feel sorry for yourself. You can say, this is unbelievable that this has happened to me, but that's just what it is. It's just a way of life, and that's what happens in the real world. Crap happens. You got to learn how to deal with it. So there's a great line about adversity doesn't reveal character. How you handle adversity reveals character. So what can you do? What do you do to make things better? I've got a history of coming back from certain failures. You can sit around and feel sorry for yourself, or you can make things better. So what you do, I love the dog pictures if you haven't been able to tell. What you got to do, crap happens, you got to clean it up. You got to say, okay, my business is hurting because of 9/11. What can I do to make it better? This isn't happening for me. There's certain struggles I'm having in school. I'm not able to get up in the mornings and go to class. I mean, I really had a girl last semester, in the full semester, tell me I just have a hard time getting up 8 in the morning. Well, crap happens, right? Your class is at 8. Come to class, clean it up. So if you ever seen that statue on our campus of Will Rogers on his horse Soapsuds, Will Rogers is very famous for a lot of phrases, but one being you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Will Rogers also famous for the phrase never met a man I didn't like. So again, if we were in our class, in our in-person class, I would get to know you guys. I would know from what I see when I first saw you what I thought, whether you were slumped in your chair, whether you were looking at your computer, pretending like you were taking notes, but you're actually surfing the internet, whatever. You only get that one chance to make a first impression. So handshake, dress, the way you come dressed for a job interview or just a sit-down meeting or whatever. Think about those things because people make those initial first thoughts about you. Doesn't mean they're right, doesn't mean they're wrong. I'm generally pretty good about, I think, reading a person pretty quickly, but I've been wrong before early on. And so, but you got to have the opportunity to make it better, right? So if you make a bad first impression, you may not get the second chance to overcome that first impression. Number one rule for life: show up, go to class, go to meetings, be there, listen, show up, get out of bed, go to class. My daughter's about to start college. My number one rule for her is just go to class. So you go to class every day, you participate. People want to help you. People don't want to fail you. They want to help you. It's like in our class. This class we did. You show up, you go on the message board. Some of you didn't get on the message board, so it shows me you didn't show up. And that's part of the story. Be present, so you listen, and you're not always looking at your phone. You're not always looking around the room. You're not always looking at something else that's more interesting. Look, these poor dinosaurs, They're so busy with other things they forgot about the day on the ark. See? Oh crap! Is that today? That's the second time we've had crap in these slides. How about that? Be present. Put your phone up. Show up and be present. Put your phone away. Put it in your pocket. I work with a lady named Judy Henry who is so great about when I'm in her office talking to her. She puts her phone down and she is just in the moment with me. She's present. It's very impressive. You know, it's easy for me to say this. I'm not your parent. Um, I'm not a big believer in everything happens for a reason. I believe like everything happens for the reason because you made it happen. The sign says if you're waiting for a sign, well, guess what? Here it is. Do your thing. Do what you want to do. Do what's going to make you happy. Do what you're passionate about. Money and those other things that you want, that all of us want, right? And again, everyone defines success and happiness by different measures. You have to decide for yourself. Your parents can't decide what's going to ultimately make you happy. So do your thing. In this business, ignore the haters. Um, People are always going to be insulting. People are always going to be critical. There's a great phrase: the lion never worries about what the lamb is saying. When I started doing baseball play-by-play, the head coach told me people are going to hate you because I was following up a very successful guy who had been doing it for years. And again, baseball is one of those things where you form a relationship with your listeners. And I took a beating on the internet, people criticizing me. People still criticize me to this day for things in my job. You have to ignore those. The lion doesn't pay attention to what the lamb has to say. Now, again, in my business, you've got to listen to the customers. You've got to listen to those things. And, just because people are critical, you can't always just ignore them. You got to know what they're saying may have some validity to it, but you can't let the mean comments, the ugly comments get to you. Ignore them. Rely on people's behavior. And again, I used to love this magazine, Highlight Magazine, and Goofus and Gallant. I know it's supposed to be pronounced Gallant, but we always called him Gallant. Goofus runs with the scissors pointing up. Gallant walks with the scissors pointing down. You can tell a lot about people, about how they act, what they do. There's a great story, and I just remembered, I was reminded of it because I was watching this show called Ozark on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. But the story is about a lady who's working for this shopkeeper in Mexico, and he catches her stealing. She'd worked for him for years and years and years. He caught her stealing, and she apologized, said she had to buy more groceries, whatever. And so the dilemma is, what does he do? Does he fire her? Does he give her another chance? And the main character says, it's not the first time she stole from you. It's the first time you caught her stealing from you. Rely on people's behavior. Rely on, is this person trustworthy? Is this person somebody that I can count on in a pinch? And this goes back to being present. Be mindful. Just understand where you are. And, sometimes it's good just to put the phone down, put the laptop down, put the whatever, the tablet away, turn the television off, turn everything off, and just be mindful. Look, again, you see this lady here on the left, she's thinking about work and driving and car troubles and everything else. The dog is just looking at the trees, thinking about the trees. And again, there's a great magazine called Mindful Magazine, MINDFUL, which has lots of great thoughts about that. Be mindful. Appreciate the fact I'm in college. I'm having a great time in college. I'm at Texas Tech. I've got this great campus. I've got a great life here. Be mindful of that. Don't lose sight of it. And because soon enough, you'll be doing something else. You're going to work every day, and you'll think, man, I wish I had those college days back. So be mindful of where you are. Enjoy where you are. And maybe one of the more important things is enjoy the ride. Again, especially this time in your life, and you have probably people telling you this all the time. Enjoy the ride. When my daughter was very little, we would take her to the park, and we would have so many people tell us, you're going to be shocked how quickly it goes, so really enjoy it. And you'd go, yeah, right. And then in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be driving my daughter to Austin to attend the University of Texas. And I think back on that. And I think, gosh, doesn't seem that long ago. We were going through the swing on the park, or we're going to get ice cream or whatever it was. And so I work a lot. I work a lot of hours. I am very career driven also, and it makes me look back and say, wished I'd enjoyed the ride a little bit more. And so that's a very important thing for you guys to know going forward is there's more to life than work and everything else. You need to enjoy it. You need to take in what you're doing and where you are. This goes back to what we talked about um, in this point. And again, this is within reason, right? Just say yes. Opportunities. You just never know about opportunities. So if it's something you think you kind of want to do, yes, I would love to try that. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe you find out this isn't what you want to do. But if it's remotely interesting to you and you think it's something you could do, say yes. Because maybe our most important lesson, remember poor old Wally Pipp and remember Lou Gehrig, is that Wally Pipp couldn't play. Lou Gehrig stepped in, took the opportunity. In 2000 some odd games later, Lou Gehrig's still in the lineup, and Wally Pipp is out of baseball. And again, think about this. So there's 16 of you in my class. This fall, I've got 60. In the next spring, I'll have another 60. In the next summer, I'll have another combined 40 or 50. And next fall after that, there'll be another 60. There's always people coming up behind you. I'll never forget, I started a great radio show, and I did it for years. And you got nice letters all the time from people and emails how much people enjoyed the show. And when I announced that I was leaving the show, I got a few comments. I got the comments you expect, right? Gosh, we're going to miss you. Gosh, thank you for all you did. Gosh, it was so great listening to you every day. But there was also quite a few, hey, who do I call to apply for your job? There's always somebody waiting to take your place. There's always somebody that will say yes. There's always somebody that wants to do what you're doing. And so enjoy that. Use it to keep you sharp. Use it to keep you going. But also remember that the minute you slip up or the minute you take something for granted, guess what? There's a Lou Gehrig kid sitting on the bench that the coaching staff really likes. Let's try that kid. And so think about that in your career going forward. And then we'll end with Bear Our Banners. You are a Red Raider. And we'll find as a Red Raider that a lot of people want to criticize Texas Tech and Lubbock and everything else. That's fine. Let them do that. You bear our banners. You prove by your behavior, right? We talked about behavior, that you are a fantastic person and you are a great representative. You'll be a great employee. You'll be a great member of society. Bear our banners. That's in our Matador song, right? Bear our banners far and wide, ever to be our pride. Bear our banners. Be proud of Texas Tech. Be a champion for Texas Tech. Be a champion for our brand. Be a champion for the Double T. There's enough people that talk negatively about it. You don't be like that. You talk positively about Texas Tech and what's going on. So that is it for the lecture. Tomorrow we'll have a little, I'll just show you tomorrow. I'll do a little video. I'll show you where all the files will be and everything else so that you can adequately prepare for the test. I say the final, it's test 2. And hopefully I'll have some questions written, and I can even go over some of those. I did that for you last time as we finish up this second summer session. So make sure you look tomorrow for where all the files are. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you this semester, and some of you have been really, really great as far as things that you did and things that you wrote and really participated in. And I do appreciate it because in a session like this, you only get as much as you give in, and you guys, some of you really have been very, very fantastic. So thank you for that, and we'll do the short review tomorrow.